Hey everyone, and welcome to another meeting of the Tropical Rum Society. So, while I have still not found my microphone, I think you might have noticed that I found something else. I managed to pick up this peacock chair for just $50 from someone who was trying to get rid of it, and it just feels so cool. Like, it's surprisingly comfortable, but it just gives like a really throne-like feel, and I really enjoy it. But you didn't come here to see this chair, you came here for some rum. So, let's get to talking about today's rum, Kula Toasted Coconut Rum. So apart from going to California this year, I also popped over to the Hawaiian Islands, and I figured, let's check out what rums they've got there. It's a nice tropical place, surely they've got some, and they did not disappoint. The only other coconut rum I've had before is Malibu at many house parties, but that's not exactly a sipping rum, so let's get stuck into this one and see what it's like. Today's rum comes from the island of Maui over in Hawaii and is produced by Hawaiian Sea Spirits. This company seems to be very big into sustainability and organic produce and actually create their own organically grown sugarcane to put into their rums. While growing your own sugarcane is something that's pretty impressive, the water source for this rum is something that is totally unique. The water for this rum comes from 3,000 feet below the surface of the Kona Coast over in Hawaii, and that's something that's definitely not as simple as just turning on a tap. Hawaiian Sea Spirits does make a few other things, including vodka and gin, as well as two other rums that are potentially the base of this one here. But for now, let's take a look at their toasted coconut rum. The name Kula here translates from Hawaiian as open meadow, which is a reference to the sunny slopes on the island that they grow their sugarcane on. This organically grown sugarcane is fermented and distilled, and then that is used to produce this 35% ABV coconut flavored rum. Now immediately, one of the first things that I noticed when I took a look at this bottle was that the label says that it uses natural flavors and that caramel coloring is added. I'm guessing that they're adding that caramel coloring so they can distinguish this because they do make a white rum as well. So that's probably in there just to give it a little bit of a tone so you don't confuse the white for the coconut flavored rum. As for those natural flavors, that sounds to me like they haven't infused this with any actual coconut and instead have just used those natural flavors to give it the smell and the taste of a coconut instead. To me, that doesn't really sound like the optimal way to go about creating a coconut flavored rum. I really probably would prefer if you were infusing some real coconut into there, but I'm not going to knock it before I try it. It might work. We'll find out in a minute. Also, as mentioned before, this rum uses that water from 3,000 feet below the surface of the Kona Coast, but it doesn't indicate whether that has still got the salt in it for a little bit of extra flavor or whether that's been taken out. So let's get into the tasting and find out if it's got some saltiness to it. The shape of this bottle is pretty unique and very different from what we've seen in any of our previous meetings. The bottle is much more geometric, and according to the Kula Rum website, the shape references the mountains of Hawaii standing tall and angular over the ocean. The lettering on the front has also been designed to evoke the image of kind of traditional Hawaiian tattoos. So there's been a lot of thought that's actually been put into the design of this bottle. In terms of the labeling, there's actually not too much on here, but I do like the fact they haven't put it directly on the back. So when you look at the bottle straight on, you can barely tell the text is actually even there. You just kind of see straight through the bottle. It gives a really minimalistic look to it, which really highlights the key aspects of the bottle's shape and that lettering on the front. I think it's about time to get this poured into the glass, so let's pop it open and see what it's like. Now, I'm pretty sure that this is one of the worst stoppers that I've opened before because it's just really stuck in place. Oh my gosh. Good pop, but because it's sucked on so tight, it was like wrestling a brick wall. It just didn't want to move at all. Oop, not focused, and that is a very big pour, so plenty to taste here. As expected from seeing it in the bottle, it's got a very clear, very pale color to it. I would say straw-like, but it's not really even that much. It's just like a tinge of color in there, but very clear, very nice looking. Now already, without getting my nose anywhere near it, I'm already getting a smell of kind of, you know when you're like at the beach and someone's got like coconut sunscreen and they're just kind of, they've lathered it on, but it's still like lingering in the air? That's what I'm getting right now before even getting close to this glass. So apart from the coconut, you do get a little bit of the base rum coming through there as well. There's a very tropical mix to it, almost a little bit like bananas in there. It's very much reminding me of being back in Hawaii. it does give a very nice tropical feel. And that's a great thing because today I think it's probably like 11 degrees outside. So it's nice to get that sort of tropical feeling even in the middle of winter. It's actually surprisingly well balanced. Like they haven't just gone coconut and nothing else. Like there is a little bit of sweetness from the rum. There's some vanilla hiding in there as well. Like I mentioned, there's some banana. So surprisingly, you're not just getting coconut, which is what I was expecting when I first saw the name of this. But yeah, all of the flavors that I can smell in here do pair together surprisingly well. And when I saw that natural flavors on the bottle, I was definitely expecting kind of like some Master Mary stuff where it's just like coconut and that's it. But I'm actually surprised by how complex and balanced the nose is. So with that, let's see if that taste stands up to it as well. I'm actually surprised by that again. So I was expecting this to just be all coconut, like upfront coconut that just trails away into less coconut until it's gone. But it's actually got a little bit of a journey to it. It's a little bit thin in the mouth. It's almost a little bit watery, but it does start out with a kind of spikiness that you get from a younger, fresher rum. So there's a lot kind of upfront that's not that coconut flavor. After that, the spikiness starts to get smoothed out as the coconut flavor starts to take over. And it kind of keeps you enveloped in that coconut flavor a little bit longer than I was expecting. I thought this would just very quickly trail off, but it actually leaves a lasting impression in your mouth. There's also a nice warm tingle down the throat as you swallow, and breathing through my nose as I am now, I can still kind of feel that faint scent of coconut lingering, even though it's been a while. So I said the smell of this was kind of like having someone with that coconut sunscreen nearby. I think the taste of this is kind of if you've been wearing that yourself and you've just come back from the sun. So you have that lingering coconut scent while also having a nice feeling of content warmedness. This does seem to be a little bit saltier than a regular rum as well, but I'm not really sure if that's because I'm actually tasting some saltiness from deep sea water, or if I'm just guessing that it's in there and my brain is tricking me into thinking that it's a little bit saltier than it really is. In terms of the toasted part that's on the label, I wouldn't really call this a toasted coconut. Like it definitely has coconut flavor to it, but I'm not really tasting anything that would make me think that that had been toasted at all. So definitely a coconut rum. Toasted coconut, like, not really. Overall, I've actually been pleasantly surprised by this rum. So definitely when I saw on the label that it had those natural flavors and some caramel added, I was thinking that this would not be a very high quality rum, but I've been, surprised. Like I said, it's actually decently well balanced and not just a coconut heavy rum that's got nothing else going for it. It's light, it's tropical, it's giving me some placebo warmth of the Hawaiian Islands, even though it's a really cold day. So I would happily sip on this one. It seems like something that would be a nice change of pace between cocktails on a summer's day. If you're headed to Hawaii anytime soon, I'd say this one's worth a try. And if you can find it online and bring the islands to you, then even better. Grab yourself a bottle and let me know what you think in the comments below. Also, if you have any suggestions where I should go for my next tropical getaway, drop that down there as well. But otherwise, I'm going to go and get this one onto the shelf, and I will see you in the next meeting.